You're listening to the Fantasy Wildcard Podcast.
Hello, good evening, welcome to the Fantasy Wildcard Dynasty Show. I'm your host, Kev. You can follow me on X at Dynasty_GOAT. The band is back. We've got the full crew tonight. I'm going to introduce you to my two amazing co-hosts. First off, welcome to Mags. So you can follow on X at Hot Seat Mags. Good evening, Mags.
Good evening, mate. It is lovely to be back on here again, but you're right. The band is back together. Some say the best three of the Fantasy Wildcard team. I don't know if you heard.
For the people at the back, it is the best three of Fantasy Wildcard. We are here tonight and we're going to welcome in our second co-host. The main man is back, Ali, who you can follow on X at FF Dynasty Grill. Welcome back, the grill.
Yo, it is so good to be back with you two. Absolute studs. Yeah. It's been awesome listening to you two just make absolute magic the past 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm back refreshed and ready to go talk about a really frantic week in fantasy football and look ahead. Yeah, can't wait for tonight. Kev, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you. I had a lovely day at work. But the highlight of my day in the middle was the Philly cheese stack from Mackie D's, McDonald's. So yeah, if anybody out there is listening and that offer is there for a couple of weeks, fill your boots. It's very tasty and really affordable price as well. But enough about my eating habits. We've got an amazing show tonight. It's on about burgers. We're at the burger part of the season. There's the bun either side. We're right in the middle where the burger is. We've just finished week 9. We'll be recapping week 9. And we thought that it was a really interesting time of the season to slightly deviate from the usual route we go, where we'll pick various topics of things that have stood out in the previous week. We wanted to be wide scale on this and talk about lots of players. There's plenty of rookies that stood out, and a great topic to kick us off is the rookie mock draft redo. So what we're going to do is we're going to look back in time, we're going to rewind. And we're going to see if we're drafting today, how we would do our rookie mock drafts. And we're going to do it as we always do, in order. We're going to go Mags, Ali, and then me. So, Mags, you've got the 101. Which rookie are you taking if we're doing it today?
Yeah, I mean, you've absolutely shafted me. The 101's so hard, right? It's it's one that was unanimous. It was one that was super consensus before. It was Bijan Robinson with an absolute bullet. But I don't think it is anymore. It can't be. Like, Arthur Smith is the devil. Him and Bill Belichick, like, sitting on a throne of lies together. So for me, it's between two other people, and I'm going to go with the guy that I had ranked higher before that, and the guy I still think has the biggest ceiling. I'm going Anthony Richardson at 101 for these rookies in 2023. I know he's injured, but just when he comes back, hopefully he'll take care of himself a little bit better, because he's got the potential, unlike Bijan, to actually be the highest scoring player in Dynasty Fantasy Football when he comes back. So I'm going Anthony Richardson.
Love that pick. You're bringing the fire straight away with that pick. I think as it stands at market, Richardson's probably, I think, number 3 out of the rookies. But in my eyes, I still think he probably is number 1. I think if we're doing this outside of the off-season where there's no games to be won, he is number 1 in my eyes. I think the only concern you'd have is if you're doing it now and people want to win now, they might go a different route. But bringing the fire to kick us off, we're going to keep rolling with the fire to the grill. 102. Who you got?
Yeah, so I traded for Bijan Robinson last week, and it felt great to get my first ever share of Bijan. The experience, I'm in the experience now, the Arthur Smith experience, and I don't want a piece of part of it right now. So I'm going for CJ Stroud, who just looks absolutely fantastic for the Houston Texans and has given me sleepless nights for what he done against my team at the weekend. I mean, the thing that most impressed me is not the fact that he threw for the rookie record yardage in a game, 470 something yards, something crazy like that. Not all the touchdowns. It was the last 40 seconds, no timeouts to march down the field and score a touchdown was just incredible. Just showed so much poise, so much experience. He didn't look nothing like a rookie. So for me, that just proves how exciting it is to own CJ Stroud right now. And what is he worth? He's worth so much. I think the upside is there. 14 touchdowns to 1 interception. And this is a guy that people tout would probably struggle on this Houston Texans team. The wide receiver core has actually been really good, but has CJ Stroud made them look really good? We're yet to find out. But yeah, I'm going for CJ Stroud as a pick here, especially in super flex leagues. Feel really good about having him on my roster. Potential to be a top 6 or 7 quarterback in Dynasty for a long, long time. So that's the pick.
Yeah, I love that pick. I think it's a really safe pick. He's a guy that before this week, his highest finish was QB 10. But I think it's not just about fantasy, this pick. It's more about what you've seen, what situations in, how it could improve, and the fact that he's a hit. He's not a bust. You can easily project him. He can be really safe and solid. And he deserves to be in that conversation with other guys that are a similar prototype, like your Trevor Lawrence's and your Justin Herbert's, that range where they've hit. Yeah, there's not as much Konami upside, but the longevity and the growth around him in that situation is fantastic. So it brings me to the 103. I've got an easy pick at this spot, just because I still think there is that tier there in the top 3. So I was going to take, obviously, whoever fell out of your 2 picks. And it's Bijan. Now, I said a couple of weeks ago, he's a bust. He has been a bust. That's confirmed. He's not lived up to expectations. The market's still well in on him. He's still running back 1. People have been putting him on the block, and the price hasn't changed, really. So this is more of a market play where, if you've got Bijan, you can still dictate a price. And there will be people out there that will pay because of the talent that he is, Saquon Barkley level player. It's just, when can the devil get out of town? And it just pains me seeing all the Algier snaps and how they perform versus each other. It's pretty frustrating, but also slightly funny. So, Max, we're going to come back to you for the 104, possibly start of a new tier. So, very intrigued to see which way you go.
Yeah, I mean, well, first, quick note, actually, this process of reevaluating rookies and looking at this has kind of changed the way I'm going to look at things a little bit going forward. The first one is I'm going to be very hesitant to put a running back at number 1 again. Like, we all knew Bijan was a special talent, but I think it's super flex. It really has to be QB first or nothing. Like, because they're just, when they hit, they're always going to be worth so much more than a running back, even if they hit. The second one is I'm going to start trusting my process a little bit more, because I got 3 words for you coming in at 4. Get the tables, because I'm taking Devin Etchan at number 4, the guy who is number 1 in points per game as a running back, the guy that has absolutely torched the NFL when he's been on the field. I am hoping this injury is just a one-off occasion and he will be fine. He is a little undersized, so that is a slight worry. But when he's played, he's just been absolutely electric, and he's in the perfect system. So I think he's well deserving of such a high pick there at number 4.
Max, you're bringing the absolute fire tonight.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got A-Chain in my top 5. I've got another running back slightly above him, who you might be aware of.
I was toying with him, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just what he's done on the field. What is he averaging, like 10, 12 yards a carry, and just how blistering he is, the explosive plays, the fact that there's a lot more growth, pass game usage whenever they need that, because he's just been playing in blowouts and stuff. So yeah, who would have thought he could have made this jump this early? But he has. He spent a bit of time on IR as well, and his value's not dipped. So I love that pick. And I'm pleased to say that I've got a lot of AJ. Maybe I've got a lot of this next guy as well. He'll have to give us the answer at 105.
You do, Kev. It's Quentin Johnson. No, it's not.
Sorry. I've got so much.
Yeah, this is a tier. It's a difficult pick, I have to say. From here, I've got 5 players, including A-Chain, in the same tier. So this is really tough. But just for ceiling play right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the pick at 105. Just because of what we've seen his potential to be without David Montgomery. Obviously, the reality is that David Montgomery is going to be potentially back this week. I think he will play this week and for the rest of the season and potentially next year. So you're going to have a 1A, 1B situation, but you just have to feel that the team are going to have to trust Jahmyr Gibbs more. They're going to have to give him more opportunities because what he done was just absolute electric. And yeah, it's so exciting to when every time Jahmyr Gibbs has the ball in his hands, he just makes magic. He's so fast. He's so skillful. I just think his potential is top 5. He could be a top 5 dynasty running back right now. I've got him and A-Chain pretty much neck and neck. Very hard to split them two because I see them very, very similarly. Just for talent, for draft capital, I have to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. There's certainly a couple of wide receivers or 3 wide receivers in contention with this pick, but I'll just go with Jahmyr Gibbs because the upside is huge.
Yeah, I'm wearing a colour, a top tonight that's borderline blue for Jahmyr Gibbs. Got to try and wear that as often as I can. It's a great pick. Like I said in the offseason, I think he's already running back to in Dynasty. Yes, he has dipped a little bit in value because of the start, but I think for me, he's still top 3. I really love the selection. I think he's great value here. Very similar, I guess, prototype to A-Chain, the fact that he's got that explosion. He doesn't need a ton of touches. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with David Montgomery back because his biggest games have come when he's not been around. Mm-hmm. If he smashes this week, it's going to get people even more excited. And it's me at the 106. I'm going to stick on the same team actually and move to tight end. Sam Laporta's a guy that's I'm comfortable with taking at the 106 here. Tight end's not usually a spot you take this high, but I just feel what he's done as a rookie is fantastic. He's played 8 games this season. His lowest finish is tight end 17. He's had, I think, 6 or 7 games in the top 10, and that's early on in his rookie season. I think it's fantastic. There's been bits in there that have helped, like Jameson Williams being on the milk carton and David Montgomery missing time, but for him to deliver what he has, I've got him now above Kincaid. It's pretty close. Like I wouldn't have a go at Mags if he takes him next. But yeah, I think Laporta is. Some people have got him tight in money dynasty, so he deserves that respect at this spot. So midway point of our rookie draft, and that means we're going back to Mags for maybe some more fire, maybe not.
I mean, yeah, Laporta's okay. He's top 2 tight end in this draft class, but I'm actually not going to. I do want to go tight end, but I'm not going to go tight end because the slip has gone far too long. Jackson Smith and Jigba has to be taken here at pick number 7 because he's doing exactly what I certainly thought he would do, which is slowly coming on. We knew this was going to happen. He was going to come into the system where he's surrounded by, these like players like DK Metcalf, like Tyler Lockett, really established players. He's got Geno Smith in there. It's going to take him a while to warm up. But I did make a bold prediction at the start of the year, which was by the end of this year, Jackson Smith and Jigba would take over as the main pass catcher in that offense. The tide's turning. It is coming on that way. I still think that might happen by the end of the year, where we see Jackson Smith and Jigba as the main weapon for Geno Smith. And yeah, you're delighted to get him at 7 then at this point, right? I think he's definitely got the talent. Remember as well, guys, that he didn't play last year. He was injured last year. He played like a bit of a game, right? So he's coming off an injury. We're probably not going to see the best of Jackson Smith and Jigba until next season. And I think whenever we see that, we'll be delighted with what we have because he's supremely talented, great route runner, great hands, does everything. I think he's going to be just fine in the NFL. So yeah, I'm delighted to get him at 7.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it's similar to where he went in rookie drafts, but maybe people have bumped up a wide receiver over him currently, which I'm not there personally. I'm still on JSN. Yeah. I think like it's funny you made. I don't think you did this on purpose, Max. Maybe I'm wrong, but a Seahawks player, and you said the tide is turning. I just thought that's brilliant. But
yes, I did that on purpose. Thank you,
Genius.
We're going to move to pick 8 now and back to Ali and see where you're going to go on this one.
Yeah, I'm picking a sheep, a ram. I'm picking Puka Nacua, and there's certainly in the same tier as another wide receiver. Could easily have gone that route, but I just cannot ignore the start that Puka Nacua has made. He's not going to be a wide receiver yet. He's not got the draft capital. There's potential for Stafford to retire at the end of the season. It could be a lot of turnover on this team, but I just cannot ignore what he's shown in the NFL right now. For fantasy, he's doing it with Cooper Kupp in the lineup. Cooper Kupp's not going to go on forever. Puka Nacua is going to be there. Even those two together are just going to make magic. I just think Puka Nacua is top 12, top 15 dynasty wide receiver. I think, there's question marks on the future, but the record pace that he's shown and he's set, it might slow down towards the end of the season with quarterback issues, but I just think his value is so safe and insulated that I feel really good about having Puka on my team going forward and on a contender, on a rebuilder. Feel really good about Puka. Could have easily gone another route, but again, a bit like my first pick, it seems safe, but there is such a big ceiling as well with Puka.
Yeah, I best watch my mouth on what I say on Puka Nacua, because otherwise the weatherman will be recording this and he's going to be using it as a hostage tape. So, I think Nacua deserves to be in that sort of mid to late round 1 discussion. I still have slight reservations because I just want to see just a little bit longer with him being the day 3 guy and obviously a second wide receiver in that offense. But what he's done is truly remarkable to start the season. If he can show any of that again at some point in the season, that's going to solidify him. I think potential range of outcomes could go as high as Amon-Ra St. Brown, or it could, it could end up being sort of a safe 2 in time. But I think what he's done is a great start to his dynasty career. It's me at the 109. I'm going to speak about someone that's not had a great start to his dynasty career. The slide's going to stop here for Bryce Young. A little bit like Ali mentioned before what Max mentioned before on QB, the fact that if they hit, the value is so strong. It's looking tough for Young at the moment with what's around him, the weapons Adam Thielen's balling out. More than that, it's really tricky. They've not got the first because that was essentially spent on Bryce Young, so it could be a bit of a hold your nose and hope it plays out in time. But we saw a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who was an excellent prospect, have a poor rookie season and then bounce back. I think we've just got to give him a little bit longer in his timeline. Pick 109. It's a spot where I don't mind taking a bit of a gamble and seeing what happens. So I'll take Bryce Young here. Coming to you at the 10th spot, Max.
I can't
this is like Christmas has come early for you, isn't it?
It's the best day. I can't believe you've let the best tight end in the draft fall to me. A guy that, Sam Laporte has been great, obviously, but we're talking last couple of weeks, last 4 weeks, Dynasty tight end 5 overall the last 4 weeks has been Dalton Kincaid. And he looks like the guy everyone wanted him to be. He's finally coming on. We got rid of that scrub, Dawson Knox, and Kincaid has done nothing but ball out ever since. He looked amazing last week. He had a weird kind of fumble thing. We'll not talk about that. But apart from that, he has been excellent. He's coming in and doing exactly what, my hypothesis about him was before the season. It was if Dalton Kincaid had a blue background to him on Sleeper, everyone would be drafting him much higher because he's got that yellow tight end background. People are dropping him down. But he's not going to play tight end. He's a big receiver. And that's what we're seeing now. Is Dalton Kincaid being the second weapon in that Bills offense behind Stephon Diggs, who, he's not going to be around forever, right? I think Dalton Kincaid here at 10 is huge, huge value. I almost took him at 7, so I'm delighted to get him here at 10. I think it's only a matter of time before he overtakes even Sam Laporta, and he is heir to the throne of tight end 1, unless, Brock Bowers has something to say about that next year. He's the only guy I see predict.
I need to have that much love for my dynasty teams as you do for Kincaid. That's me. I think all I would add on that is the gap between Laporta and Kincaid is too big, whichever way you go about it. I think Laporta's on pace for 90 receptions. Kincaid's on pace for 80. So there's not for two rookies to be doing that as well. It's mightily impressive. So yeah, you can't argue that. Pick 10 as well. It's roundabout where he was going, and you've got that safety now that he's going to be a hit. So we're going to move on to our pick 11, your last pick of the rookie mock draft that we're doing. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see which way you're going to go here.
This is an easy one actually for me. I had him in conversation from my last pick, so Jordan Addison would be the pick here. Would be absolutely delighted to get him if this was a real rookie mock. Obviously, there's a lot of question marks about the quarterback position for this year now that Kirk Cousins has gone out and not going to be there. They're talking him up like he's going to be the quarterback next season. We'll wait and see on that one. But Josh Dobbs coming in, what an amazing guy! Just absolutely. I mean, you've got to love that guy, especially beating Arthur Smith. But yeah, Jordan Addison. I think short term he's going to take a dip, and the production is not going to be great. Long term, you've obviously got Justin Jefferson there, who's absolutely dominant, and Jordan Addison is always going to have to take a back seat. But I think it's going to be very much similar to AJ Brown's situation with Devonta Smith. The talent is there, the draft capital is there. Would like to see Jordan Addison put on a few pounds. He just looks so thin and scrawny, like his arms are so thin, and contested catches he seems to get a bit bullied, but the route running is really crisp. He's showed that he's got the ceiling, and he has had big games with Kirk Cousins. So, feel really good about taking Jordan Addison and having him on my roster to be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Absolutely love that. Long term, feel really good about him. Short term, takes a dip.
Yeah, the market absolutely loves Addison. I think they've got him wide receiver 1 in the class. He's performed really well over the past couple of weeks without Jefferson. It'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that level once Jefferson is back. And I think this situation, it's a little bit similar to like a Philly where you've got your Jefferson, your AJ Brown, you've got your Smith, your Addison, and you've got your Hawkinson, you got it. So I think he will be frustrating at times, like we've seen with Devonta Smith this season. But again, he's someone that's hit, and at this pick 11, you can be really sure he's kind of the opposite of a guy I'm going to take at the 112. Ooh. So could have gone a few different ways. Could have kept it wide receiver, gone Zay Flowers. There's options, maybe tight end, throw a dart on Musgrave or something else. But
I know
I'm going back to QB at this point. I'm going for the guy. Yeah, Banana Man, the guy that what's he do? Put mayo in his coffee. Dirty boy. Will Levis. I just feel that it's not about profile or my feelings towards him, because I don't think he's a great prospect, but it's just on the process that someone like Kenny Pickett last season did absolutely nothing, was terrible, and his value steadily rose from QB 30 to QB 15 range. I think Levis, he will keep his job going into next season, and I think his value is going to rise. Like we saw, he had one game when he was in the top 20. You've had an opportunity there to sell from him. He's had a dip now, so I'll probably wait till there's another big game. There'll be opportunities to sell. Look at the QB landscape. There is some hits out there like Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut, but there's other guys that have really struggled when they've filled in, and we'll be coming on to that very soon. But yeah, Will Levis, 112. I like to throw all the dice. It's a gamble at this pick. So that's our round 1 rookie mock draft redo. Just recap it for everyone. So 1 to 12, we've got Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bijan Robinson, A-Chain, Gibbs, Laporta, JSN, Nakua, Bryce Young, Dynasty tight end 1, Kincaid, obviously, Addison, and Will Levis. So I teased it a little bit then about talking QBs and how it's been a bit of a mess. We're going to come on to a topic with Mags now that's aptly titled To Be or Not 2QB.
Ooh, yeah. So this happened to myself and also our good friend Matt as well, where everyone thought they were being real savvy. Stafford gets injured. You pick up Ripien or whatever the hell he's called. You stick him in for Stafford in your super flex, and he just shafts you. Right? You're just wishing you started literally anybody else as a safer floor. So I'm gonna say a quarterback to you guys, and all you got to answer is to be or not to. Not to QB. That's quite hard, actually, right? Maybe just yes or no will be better. So I've got a couple of names for you. Ready? Let's start off with Taylor Heineke. To be or not to QB? Kev, we'll go to you first.
Yes, I'm playing him.
Play. Ali?
That is pretty much borderline, but I just think he's shown enough. I would say if Drake London plays, then I would. If he doesn't play, I wouldn't.
Nice. Yeah.
I love how he was almost going to attempt it then, Ali. You thought about it to be or not to QB. Yeah.
All right. Next, let's go. We mentioned him earlier. Bryce Young. Let's go Alan first this time.
Yeah. I'm starting Bryce Young. He's not shown much ceiling, but with Adam Thielen, I think he's slowly getting better, processing it better. So yeah, I'll start him.
Yeah, defo start for me. I think he's shown enough. He showed a bit of a rushing upside as well at the weekend, so that's interesting. It's going to be struggles, but yeah, yes.
Yeah, he needs to stop that. He'll get his head taken off. He's only 4 foot. So yeah, he needs to be careful. Next, let's go a bit trickier. Let's go Aidan O'Connell.
Wow.
Let's go Kev first with that.
The well-known Madden regen.
Yeah.
That got me rolling, that one.
That was good.
Yeah, this is where it gets really tough for me. Because I do tend to lean playing QB in the set superflex spot unless you've got some absolute disgusting monster of a team. Madden regen. I'm gonna say no on this one. I just feel that if he has another week where he has to pass and he can pass and he shows something, then yeah. But
yeah.
What was his debut like? He scored a rushing touchdown and got about 8 points, which stinks.
Yeah. Ali?
No, keep him well away from my lineups. That is not a happy place with Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers rushing in touchdowns. I don't want none of that.
Yeah. Okay. I've got 2 more then. Let's start off with Zach Wilson. Ali, we'll go to you first.
Oh, that's so naughty. I think this is going to be, if the league criticizes anything for like incomplete passes or interceptions, if it really hits you bad, I don't want him anywhere near my lineup because I had to play him in, I think, the Warrior Bowl or something, and he might have finished on like 2 points or even negative. It was pathetic. So, no.
He got me 2 wins this week by being so terrible. The other team had him, so I was chuffed about that. Cheers, Zach. I think I would play Zach Wilson, but it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And then we'll finish off with everybody's favorite quarterback, Tommy DeVito. Kev, what are you doing with Tommy DeVito?
Absolutely not. Like, I wouldn't even start him in best ball.
I mean, if you want to tank, get old Tommy in the lineup, but
it.
I just can't believe he's even rostered on an NFL team. Like, they've got Matt Barkley as their practice quarterback. I mean, surely, what must Matt Barkley be thinking that he's behind Tommy DeVito? Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with you guys on all those. So great job.
Good stuff, lads. It's been a fun chat around QB. We're going to move on to our next topic, which is kind of about QB, but it's kind of not about QB either.
Yeah. So I'm going to tee it up with this guy. I mean, what do we classify him as, guys? Because, I mean, he's classified as a tight end / quarterback, Taysom Hill. And the start of the season was rough. I mean, he's, 33 years old. But the last 4 weeks, you can't say anything other than he's been a cheat code for fantasy. And, yeah, I don't know what position he should be classified as because he was the Saints' leading rusher on Sunday. So he had more rushing yards than Alvin Kamara, 52 yards. He also had 5 targets on 13 routes, 4 receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown. So receiving touchdown as well as 52 rushing yards. He also threw a touchdown pass, 20.6 PPR points. So tight end 3 on the week. And over the past 3 weeks, his tight end 1, averaging dead on 20 points per game. The past month, he's tight end 2. I think he's like 0.1 points behind Travis Kelce in points per game. So, yeah, it's just insane. Tight end 9 on the season now. I can personally only imagine him finishing top 5 because of the role that he has on this offense. Whenever they get close to the goal line, Taysom Hill comes in. He's either passing for a touchdown or he's running for a touchdown. And it's, not good for Alvin Kamara owners. I've got him on a few contending teams, and on one of them, he was actually my top scorer this week. So he's really helping me win championships. And I just want to talk about him because people don't talk about him enough, only in sort of negative views in what should be classified as. Alvin Kamara owners absolutely hate him. Derek Carr owners hate him. Michael Thomas owners hate him because he had 0 receptions this week. So I just wanted to say I think he's flex worthy right now. I think you can have him obviously as your tight end because he's smashed at that position. I've got him in the flex position as well, where I've got a stud tight end, and I'm just loving him being in there right now. And then we mentioned the super flex spot. You can put him in the super flex spot because he's playing basically like a quarterback. So many ways you can play him. I just think on a contending team, if he's not on one of the other contending teams, why not make a move for him? Because I can't imagine him costing too much. He's putting up points on maybe a team that doesn't want all them points. That's the move that I'm making. I know it sounds crazy, and if it's for just this year, then so be it. His contract actually says that he's got a big dead cap hit if they were to cut him at the end of the season. So I think it's something like $14-16 million. So I think he's going to be there again for next year. So I just wanted to pick your brains. So Kev, I've got a couple of situations for you. Both you're a contender because obviously you are because you're the GOAT.
Yeah.
First one is you've got Evan Ingram as your tight end 1, but you're trying to compete with the Travis Kelce owner, Laporta, Mark Andrews. He's having a good year. He's tight end 7.
Kincaid.
The Kincaid owner. Have you any interest in trading for Taysom Hill from a mid-table team or a team that's lower down? If so, firstly, what are you offering?
So Taysom Hill, it's got me thinking about where I'd play him in anything other than best ball or dynasty best ball. It's really tricky. I think if you're playing him at tight end before this spree that he's been on, you're crazy because he didn't do a lot early on in the season. I think he's kind of a perfect bye week sort of fill-in in the flex potentially, where lots of teams can be thin depending on bench size, etc. But yeah, I just think if you're a middle team, I'd always prefer to go the other way and rebuild than potentially try and buy a 33-year-old offensive gimmick. Not in a negative way, but what he's done is truly amazing. He's probably been what people thought Tim Tebow was going to be in a slight way, just an offensive weapon, but even more than Tebow with the receiving game. So I'm kind of not in on your middle teams. Your high-end teams, I think, personally, I'm aiming really high or not, but I can see the argument of you've got an Evan Ingram, you come to your championship game, you're facing the Kelce owner in the final.
Mm-hmm.
You could stick Taysom Hill at tight end because Taysom Hill, if he hits, he's got a bigger ceiling than Travis Kelce on any given week.
Yep, certainly I like that. And just quickly, the second situation is you're a contender, so you're a top 2 team. You've got an absolute studs all round. Your tight end was Dallas Goedert, who's now going to be missing for a few weeks. You don't have a tight end 2. It's someone useless. So would you trade for him in that situation if the Taysom owner is fairly low down the league? And if so, what would you offer for Taysom Hill right now?
Yeah, I'd be keen on that because I think with you having a solid top 2 sort of team, you can afford to gamble that spot a little bit. And like I said, the ceiling's incredible, but it's on the caveat. He's 33. I'm not paying more than a third or 2/3. You're not going to get a second for someone that could be like if he changes teams, it's not going to be the same. If he's playing outdoors on grass, it's probably not the same as that superb indoor arena that they've got in New Orleans.
Love it. So, Mag's situation is you are a seller and you've got Taysom Hill on your team. What would you accept right now to sell Taysom Hill to a contender?
Well, the first thing I'm saying is the last 5 weeks, Taysom Hill's actually been quarterback 12. Like overall,
Wow.
Wow.
ahead of Jared Goff, ahead of Purdy, ahead of Lawrence, Herbert, all these guys. That's where I'm saying that, and then I'm nigh on demanding a second, like because of that. Like if I'm going to sell, I bet you can get it. Like my powers of persuasion, I think I can get it done. I think I can get a second. Maybe not from Kev, but or maybe something sneaky like I can get a second and give something back. But yeah, I think you can definitely sell a story to a true contender that this is the guy that's going to win you a championship because he's playing so well. Because you can start quarterback 12 in the tight end slot. Like you can sell that story, I think, and you can eke out a second. You can stroke the ego and say, "Oh, you're it's going to be a late second," like all of that. I'll happily take a 2026 second for him because by the time it all comes around, they might not be a contender anymore. So I'll see if I can push for a second. But you know, if push did come to shove and they were like, "I can only give you 2/3," I'd still take it.
Love it.
Taysom on the hill. I just got me thinking, he's more like a mosh pit, isn't he, really? Just the destruction he's doing around him to the other players. It's not a hill.
He's almost like the only player that you should only be allowed to start in the flex. Like you can't start him in a position. Like you have to start him only in the flex, right?
He can only go there.
Yeah, like it's weird.
Love that. It's been a weird show tonight because we're going to keep it on the QB theme if we're calling Taysom a QB, and we're going to come to a guy that I didn't really want to discuss, but I thought we best discuss him. It's a big injury. It's a guy that was topical this offseason, Daniel Jones, and the giant question mark that's surrounding him with that injury he's got this week, and it's ruling him out for the season. And he's got a big deal. And it's not gone as planned. There was the support in the offseason to get him Darren Waller and the 16 slot receivers assigned. I still think it's missing an outside wide receiver to really give him the best possible chance. Someone like a T. Higgins, a DK Metcalf type player to make a full judgment on him. But I'm getting worried for Daniel Jones. We spoke about it a couple of weeks back about how you hide Daniel Jones in a trade without making it obvious, and it's really tricky. I think in terms of what he's done as a QB, amazing last season, but that's his only notable season in I think the top 20-25 in any season. So he's massively risky. His value has obviously dropped. There's not going to be many teams in on him. He's fighting to be fit for the start of next season. They're going to have a high rookie pick. They're going to be in range for Michael Penix, potentially Drake May, depending on how high it goes. Maybe even Caleb Williams if something crazy happens in Carolina. In Carolina. But yeah, it's really tough money for your Daniel Jones owner. We're going to come on to some bits around what you're doing as a rebuilder, what sort of trade options you've got. But I just in the offseason, I spoke about a player comp for Daniel Jones, and it's kind of coming true. I said it tongue-in-cheek, but Mitch Trubisky, a guy that was taken high in round one above where I was expected, played at a small school, a bit athletic, but a work in progress as a passer. And he has followed that trajectory of Trubisky that had that one really good fantasy season and then been pretty terrible in every other season. So that's just one food for thought. And I guess the last thing I just want to say on Daniel Jones before I come on to yourself, Mags, is if you've got Daniel Jones on your roster, it's kind of like watching that horse video at the weekend. But yeah, anyway, Mags, I just want to say you're a rebuilder or you're a contender. You can pick. What are you doing with Jones?
I mean, you're talking to the guy that even after his biggest season, I still describe Daniel Jones as like if you order Josh Allen on Wish, you get like Daniel Jones, this like piece of crap that doesn't really work, right? So I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. I don't want to say last year was a fluke because he played really well, like all that, and he has this upside, but just he's always looks like Bambi on ice. He's always unstable. Nothing seems to really be fluid and working well for him. So I'm just trying to get him. He's not on him. I own 0 Daniel Jones. But if he was on my team, I'm just trying to get him off my team. Like, just sell him for what you can. I would struggle to see how he's guaranteed to be the starter next year in New York. He could even get traded next year, depending on how the draft goes. He could end up anywhere. I mean, doesn't he just, like, for some reason, it just seems like the sad journey where he's just going to end up at like the Patriots, right? And he's going to play under Belichick at the Patriots, and no, it's just going to be lose for everyone. That's where I see it going for him. I don't know.
So you're just completely out on him, and we'll come to you, Ali, to sort of.
Never in, but
we'll come to some positivity from you, Ali, on Daniel Jones. Just, is he a pure sell in every situation, or is it dependent? Is there any trade you can explore? Is it just you are stuck until there's some good news on him?
I think that when you look around the landscape of quarterback, and I know the fantasy quarterback landscape for the past couple of weeks with bye weeks and injuries has been horrendous. We talk about how bad tight ends are, the situation is, and running backs, but quarterbacks has been truly horrendous this year. I feel like there's a massive divide, and it's probably 12, 13 quarterbacks that you can feel good about going into next season and beyond. But beyond that, it's an absolute shit show. So Daniel Jones is now in the dodgy category, but I do think that given his contract, given his age, what he has shown, I just think that he's going to get a chance somewhere, and I'd quite happily buy him, perhaps for, if I'm a rebuilder and you haven't got to worry about points, and you're just taking a chance on someone that can start next year. I'd probably go as high, probably a second if I'm feeling a bit risky. And I don't know, I feel so bad because I had an offer at the end of last season for 2 firsts to trade away my Daniel Jones, and I said no. But yeah, the situation is it's not great, but I just feel like there's so many bad quarterbacks in the NFL that I wouldn't want to touch. But Daniel Jones is, with the Russian floor, we just know if he comes back on the Giants or on a team, and we know how good he was last year for fantasy. He was a back-end quarterback one that was putting up points every week. So we're only a year removed away from that. I'll still take a chance. I'll pay a second for him just to take a chance on Jones because of the age and what he's shown before.
Yeah, I think that the last thing we'll mention on Daniel Jones is the fact that he's injured and he's going to miss all of this season. It's kind of put into the back of the queue a little bit for me. Like, if I'm a rebuilder and thinking, right, I need to buy an injured QB to give me something next season, I'm thinking Kirk Cousins, I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers, and then maybe Daniel Jones. I got real lucky, if I'm honest. I had one share of Daniel Jones. I traded him last week for, I think it was Kirk Cousins and Mike Williams. So apologies go out to T-Strack for that one. It's just how it happens. Sorry, but obviously I'm not too sorry because Daniel Jones, innit? Daniel Jones, what a way to end the show. What a way to end what's been an absolute crazy show for us tonight. We've recapped week 9 of the Dynasty season. We've done the rookie mock draft. which was a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us and subscribe on X and YouTube at Fantasy Wildcard, at Wildcard Dynasty. We're here every Tuesday in season. You know what to do. Thank you once again. Have a good one. And we'll see you again very soon.